is the 14th of June 2018. A very good morning to you and welcome to the first show Issues Worth Your Time. My name is Annie Efuampof. As always, I'm being here, and today too I am here with
Pamela Boateng. Of course, it's the 14th of June, a very historic day. Yeah. Today is going to go down in history. Yeah. Today is World Cup 2018.
So yeah, the day has come.
The day has come. Finally.
People couldn't sleep. Oh, do you know that yesterday someone confessed to me? So they were in a meeting at work, and it was a crucial meeting at that. Okay. And you know what he was doing? He was just whispering to Charlie, "The World Cup be when."
And surprisingly,
the World Cup tomorrow. You forgot champs go watch out.
And you know, Ghana is in part, but I like the enthusiasm. Yeah. I like the feel that we are coming on board with, and all the best to anybody.
Today, you know, there's one thing that we're supposed to do. We didn't do. We're supposed to be in the Ghana jersey.
Oh,
but we changed our mind.
Yeah, we changed our mind. The FA said to be this. Is there even a Ghana jersey?
Oh well, we could have just wore it. Celebrate with you as we just sit behind the TV and watch. But all the same, we know that there's a 5-member committee that's been set up to run the football activities in the country in the meantime. So that's a good thing for us to go with it. But also in other issues, there are some more trending issues going on, but in others we know that there are still investigations ongoing with the issue of the 70-year-old man who died as he runs through 7 hospitals just to seek some medical attention. People are coming out. There's a woman, a widow, that says that, well, my husband died when Rich Hospital told me that there were no beds, but apparently there were about 5 beds empty there. So, well, still the issues are coming up, and we'll follow up and still give you details. We also know producers have done some investigation, and we know that, well, it's now cash for bed.
Interesting.
When discuss some of the hospitals, they'll ask you, are you an old patient here? If you say no, well, go to Kolebu. Well, go here and go. Some. Boha. We can be on the side of the medical providers, and we can also be on the side of the public. Our own is quite an unfortunate situation where we stand, so we need to sometimes deal with the issue as and when they come.
Well, not only is 14th June the commencement of World Cup 2018, today is World Blood Donor Day. So if you are a fan of donating blood, do well to go to any blood bank and do somebody some gesture. And today, the ban on noise making is going to be lifted. So Annie, you can make all the noise you want in the world.
So people are asking, how did it go? Did we not really make noise? I remember I used to be playing loud music in my car, and I'm with but we will speak with officials at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to find out how it went, and then we'll give you details if we have to go on with it or we need to just forget this whole thing about noise making. And we'll also get you into other issues about medical care, but this time we're focusing on body enhancement. We'll give you details of that.
But before we get into that topic, let's just get motivated this morning. Alright, so our quote for today, we're taking it from an Egyptian feminist leader known as Huda Sha'arani. Huda is telling us this morning that men have singled out women of outstanding merit and put them on pedestal to avoid recognizing the capabilities of women. I take it again. Huda Sha'arani is an Egyptian feminist leader, and she says men have singled out women of outstanding merit and put them on a pedestal to avoid recognizing the capabilities of all women. Now, who is this woman giving us this very strong quote this morning? Well, she was born on June 23, 1879 and died December 12, 1947. She was a pioneering Egyptian feminist leader, nationalist, and founder of the Egyptian Feminist Union. Huda was born in Upper Egypt to the famous Egyptian El Shawi family. Huda was born into a wealthy family in Minya. She was the daughter of Mohammed Sultan, the first president of the Egyptian Representative Council. She spent her childhood and early adulthood secluded in an upper-class Egyptian harem. At the age of 13, she was married to her cousin Ali Pasha Sharami. And this is a woman giving us a strong quote there today the highlight here again is women.
You know, my social media family always give me something to talk about every day. And yesterday, fortunately, I wrote an article was about women and the way we treat our own selves as women. I always, you know, let me just declare myself. I always tell you, I'm not a feminist. I don't fight for women. Neither do I fight for men. I just say do it if you can, and that's it. So there's this article somebody brought up and said I wrote the article, and then someone was raising the point of how women, we allow ourselves to be abused by men, and I was like 100%. I agree with you, because we have the power to take our own decision. No man can force you to do something that, unless you allow it. Just unless physically, unless you allow it. If a man wants to have sex with you, unless he rapes you, you have the right to say yes or no. If a man you know, sexually abuses you, unless it's by assault, is your right to say yes or no. If a man wants to allow you to, you know, like you're looking for a job and you go into a company, the boss says, I want to sleep with you before I give you the job. It is up to you to say yes or no. But sometimes we can understand the difficulty, but please don't let the difficulties and the challenges push you into the corner.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
I mean,
you know, don't let
in
it push you into
extreme
a corner.
cases where men are over domineering when it comes to physical prowess and all of that, then sometimes women can be weak. But not in an instance where we are hearing of some assault cases with Tony Oyelita and his wife.
Well, it's rather unfortunate, but I think that we have been very unfair to that family. Whoever leaked the document did not do them any good.
It's a private issue.
What did you want to benefit from leaking the divorce document, whatever it is? I don't even want to talk about it. I think it's unfair. The husband has asked that allow us, the family, give us some respect, and I have even shared his document. Just give them some respect. It's rather unfair. You don't know your future. You don't know what's going to happen to your family. You just don't know anything. So don't mock at people in situations like that. I think it's just terrible.
It's a sensitive issue.
But that would take us into Father's Day celebration. We just remind you, what do you have for us on that?
It's just tomorrow. Father's Day isn't tomorrow, but we are GNTV. We are celebrating it here tomorrow, big time, with our Muslim brothers and with you watching us. So here's what: make sure you tune in tomorrow right here on the show, 15th of June, where we get to ask you very simple questions, as simple as it can be, because we want you to enjoy the Father's Day. So you answer some questions, you call in, and voila, you have some hampers, you have some vouchers, you have a lot of things to walk away with. So make sure you stay with us. Tomorrow is a holiday too, so no excuse to say, oh, I went to work so I missed the show. Even if you're stepping out, we are live on YouTube at GNTV. So here at GNTV, we say our fathers,
our heroes. So we also very live. You want to download the FD mobile app, and if you're moving about, if you're mobile, you can watch it on your phone. If you want to be a part of this competition, just call in, answer the question, and we have something for you here on GNTV. It's time for us to go for the headlines.
Time for the newspaper headlines. We are finding out what is trending on our newspapers this morning, and I'll kickstart, just as we are kickstarting the World Cup today, with the Today newspaper. And on the front pages, yes, 2018 FIFA World Cup kicks off today. The Today newspaper has captured exactly that, and I can see a picture of the chief, Kentucky Teko Churu II, the Gamanche, and jubilation galore as High Court throws out case against Gamanche and others. You can find that on page 3 of the Today newspaper. And we see a picture of what we were speaking about a couple of seconds ago of Tony Lita, as his alleged divorce case has been captured on the front pages of the Today newspaper. Oh, the man who is trending, the man of the moment, Kwesi Nyantakyi, more troubles for him. What other soup has he found himself? And you can find that on page 3 of the Today newspaper.
Well, let's quickly go on to the daily graphic on the front page. Comes to rather sad story. 11 perish in Suhum bus crash. And if you look at, if you see, I'm sure you can see it on your screen, the tangled or mangled vehicle. I can imagine it's rather, I can't even describe how it could be on the scene. But announced report Nyantakyi to Attorney General court for investigation into his stewardship. I know that Kweku Baako has also declared that, well, there's no way, under no circumstances am I going to beg Kennedy Agyapong to shut up. Why should I mean, really, why should he? Kennedy Agyapong can do his words. No, he says he won't beg him to do anything. So World Cup kicks off today as Russia plays Saudi Arabia, also on the front page. And then Kofi Amwa, one of our legends in this country. Kofi Amwa has football management body. So the 5-member committee that's been set up is being headed by Dr. Kofi Amwa.
Well, we'll try and speak with some authorities or some aspect in football and find out what exactly this 5 interim member committee will be doing and how long would they be interim.
Yeah, so allow me to read just a set of the story. It says that the government has, pursuant to injunction placed on the GFA last Tuesday, set up an interim management committee to oversee the administration of football and other related matters in the country. The committee member are Dr. Kofi Amwa, who will chair the committee, and Dr. Kujo Fianu as secretary. So the rest are Mr. Abedi Pele and Reverend Ose Kofi. Yay! So both former Black Star players, and we also have Miss Eva Ochiri, a football enthusiast and legal practitioner. So Peace FM's Dan Kweku Yeboah will be the spokesperson for the committee. This follows a High Court ruling to temporarily freeze all activities.
Why are you excited about Dan Kweku's portion? Why? Why?
Shouldn't I be? Well, he's a journalist. Why? He's a journalist. That's all. He's a journalist. Oh, that's all I have to say. Why I'm grinning. So this follows like a High Court ruling temporarily freeze all activities of the Ghana Football Association GFA for 10 days. Yeah. So that's what we have. Well, that's the updates. We'll speak to experts later if the producers are able to.
I'm looking forward to what exactly they'll be doing in the meantime, just to restore sanity into the association. But still on the front pages of the newspapers, but our focus now is on the Ghanaian Times. They have also captured the tragedy as 11 died, 54 injured in a horrific accident in Suhum. You can find that on page 3 of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. And government increases student loan by 50%. Indeed, some good news to people who really need some financial needs in school.
Well, is that government what?
Increases student loan by 50%.
Student loan,
student loan, Annie.
And my question is, are the students repaying the loans? Are they, you know...
They do. They have a way of reclaiming all of those monies. You know, when you work for a certain amount of time, they'll try and deduct it. If you are not able to, they'll try and deduct it from you. You suggest who can pay that money.
What if you're not working?
So you have a guarantor. You had somebody who guaranteed the loan for you. So if it's a pensioned person, they would have to deduct it from that person.
I just hope that government will be able to redeem all the loans that it gives out, because really, we're going through. Well, I don't want to believe that Ghana is going through crisis, because if I hear the numbers and the figures that are being bandied about when it comes to contracts and things like that, I know that we're not really suffering, are we?
Well, all right. Well, still on the front pages of the Ghanaian Times, deal with reckless motor riders on Salah. Chief Imam to police. You know, today ends their long-running fast, and tomorrow they are celebrating their Eid.
So many years ago, no, 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. There was a video that was trending concerning how they display during the celebration, and there was a gory accident that occurred somewhere around Nima during this display. So I know that this motor display or motorcycle display is part of their celebration for the young boys. They do it, you know, but I think you should do it cautiously this time and avoid any tragedy. You know, do it cautiously. with caution and avoid tragedy. The end of your fasting should be a celebrating moment and not a mourning moment.
Definitely.
So let's make sure
Annie,
that...
let's quickly find out what exactly happened in Suhum with a very tragic accident. It says a total of 11 people died and 54 others were injured when two buses collided head-on at Isuboy near Teacher Mante in this Teacher Mante place.
So the buses collided.
Yes, in the eastern region on Wednesday. The dead, which included 6 males and 5 females, have been deposited at the Suhum Government Hospital mortuary, whilst the injured, including a 2-year-old boy, are undergoing treatment at the same hospital. The accident occurred at about 4:30 a.m. and involved buses traveling from Aflao to Kumasi with registration number GS 83515 and Techiman to Accra, with an Accra-bound bus with number GN 660017. The accident resulted in a huge traffic on that stretch of the road.
So from Aflao to Kumasi, and then from Techiman to Accra.
Yes.
Now you look at the distance of these journeys and you know that these drivers could have even been tired. From Techiman to Accra is a long distance. From Aflao to Kumasi is another kind of trip, you know. So these drivers could have been tired. They could have been doing anything. Sometimes on long journeys, we urge that when they go for about 4 hours and you're tired, park the bus and sleep. And passengers allow the drivers to do that.
How would they have known they were tired? They don't know. When you are going aboard the bus, how do you know this is a refreshed driver?
No, but you
don't know. So it's about the management of these transport companies to ensure that tired
maybe
drivers,
to give them a period within which they should rest.
Exactly.
And it should be a must.
Exactly.
And not an option.
You see?
Colliding, and if you look at the mangled vehicles, I don't even know if the dead will be identified or can't be identified. It's rather unfortunate.
Serious?
But we'll get into. We know we here at GNTV we are very honest with our road safety education. So producers have assured that they are working around it, and then we'll give you some more education on it. I think we have to revive it and see how far we can go with it. But on the front page of Daily Guide, it says a retraction apology to Inusa Fusaini, and I don't know who is apologizing to him, but Tony Litha dumps Oye Litha, and that is boldly captured on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper. My thing or my take on this headline.
Oh, now you have a take.
No, on the headline.
On the headline, not the story.
Yeah, the headline is crazy. It will be written this way because of the nature of our politics. That one there, if you find yourself in such a soup, expect that we will come after you. We will give you. But I'm just saying that the way the public is handling the document of the divorce papers, I think is unfair, and we just have to leave them in their private matters. But what I'm wondering is, Tony Litha dumps Oye Litha. Oye Litha's name has now become like a household.
She's a mentor
to
a lot of people.
The name Oye Litha is like a brand. So I don't know in this situation what's she going to do. Is she still go? Sometimes it happens. There's a divorce, like Mandela and Winnie Mandela, and she says you can still continue to keep my name because it's like a brand. You can't just break it off, you know. So I don't know. Maybe in this challenging times they may want to consider that. But Suhum road crash kills 10. Daily Guide says 10. Times and Graphics says 11. Alpha Radio fits 3,000 orphans. That's also on the front page of the Daily Guide.
Well, on the front pages of the Chronicle, they are still looking at the Ghana card registration as the NDC heads for Supreme Court over
not the NDC, the minority.
Well, they have captured the NDC.
Wow.
Yes, the NDC.
Why would they capture the NDC? Well, this issue is the tussle is in Parliament. So if it's in Parliament, we handle them as majority and minority.
And you can see a picture of Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader, in there. And girl denied BEC exam missing. Okay, so you can find that still on the Chronicle newspaper. And special World Cup pullout day. Today is the day we have all been waiting for.
So,
but wait, before we move on, some entertainment stories that the Chronicle newspaper has captured. And Rihanna lets out secret after hiding her 4-year-old marriage.
Rihanna, I thought I was your sister.
All right, so before we move on to other stories, we've been joined on the phone by Ben Graham, who happens to be a sport journalist, to tell us more about the 5 interim member committee that has been set up by government to steer affairs off the GFA. Good morning, Ben, and you're welcome to the first show.
Good morning.
All right, so let's just kickstart the conversation. What do you make of the 5 interim member committee that has been set up by government to spearhead affairs of the GFA?
Well, I think that it's a very good decision. Remember the first statement that came, that they were going to take steps to, clean up the system, or they have to take steps to dissolve the FA. And so, first, they needed to deal with that. Second, they needed to speak to FIFA, and then to let them understand that we have crisis in our football, and so they needed to change their ways. So, in effect, I think that that's the process they began to start, and now we are really seeing the individuals they want to work with. In any case, the FA itself came out with a statement and said that anybody who was caught in a nasty was definitely going to be dealt with. So they obviously do not want to deal with somebody whose hands have been tainted by the announced video. But the government is looking to have a completely new team, new faces with trust and with credibility to run our football.
Well, talking about credibility, a section of the public have raised concerns as to some members of the interim committee. What exactly is wrong with some members of these committees? Why are people raising false alarms?
Well, the issue is simple. Let me start with the chairman, Dr. Kofi Amoah. He's actually one person we all got to know during the Ghana 2008 AFCON, where he was the chairman of the local organizing committee. They spearheaded the facilitation, of course, the hosting of the competition. But the unfortunate thing here is that we haven't really seen that much, whether playing a key role in our football or making one or two comments. He hasn't really availed himself enough for activities in our football, just apart from the 2008 Nations Cup. Now, if you come to Kojo Fiano, he's a member of GAGA. He was former executive member of the Ghana Football Association. Yes, he's had his own, spiky relationship with that of Mr. President Techi over some, sponsorship deals and stuff like that. But people still feel that it was also part of the problem that did not work. Only because maybe he has an issue with Nyan Techi, and so they fell out doesn't mean that he's a clean person. Now, if you come to Madam Eva Otri, people think that she was the deputy, chairman or chairperson for the disciplinary committee of the Ghana Football Association that was engulfed with a lot of illegality in terms of, disciplinary issues at the Ghana Football Association. So people still feel that she's part of the old system. And then you come and talk, about Abedi Pele, and people are also thinking that, listen, some years ago there was a football match played, Nani FC won 31-0. It was Abedi Pele's team, and so it should have been punished. But there's no document to that extent to say that he was in fact net deep into the whole machination, and for that matter, he had to be punished. There was no document to prove that he personally manipulated the scoreline and all that. Then Reverend Osei Kofi comes in. Yes, he's a legend of the country, but what really has his role been played? The only thing I do remember was when they had to spearhead the payment of the Black Stars players who complained that they were promised some money after winning the AFCON, and then the former administration had to pay up their bonuses and stuff like that. So people think that they don't really have a unique identity for that trust in them. That is how people are looking at this committee.
All right.
And my problem basically with the committee is to know their scope of work. I know the first job is to go and meet FIFA, but apart from that, what really is going to be the restructuring that they're going to carry on? Where are they going to start from? That is the question everybody's trying to find out.
Exactly the next question I was about posing. What exactly will they be doing within this interim period? What will be their daily activities just to restore sanity into the FA?
Well, the thing is that they have to go and talk to FIFA. Remember, the FIFA Congress happened in Russia just yesterday. Ghana didn't have the opportunity to be part of the voting pattern because of the crisis. Remember, President Techi has resigned from the FIFA position and that of a CAF. And so we don't even have that opportunity to even be part of deliberation in FIFA. So they need to go and talk to them to restore that position back to Ghana. And then, of course, you're going to talk about our football locally. Our league is going to be on hold. In fact, it's on hold. So they need to come out with modalities to get it back on track because they are started on it. And then I am particularly worried because we have the Women AFCON coming up in November. And so we need to get on track. CAF must know that we are ready to hold the tournament. And so they need to look into all these possibilities. And of course, it goes beyond just putting things in a perspective of what to do is restore confidence back in our football. Because as it stands now, if our football is back, people still will have some mistrust in the system. They need to restore some bit of sanity and trust back. Integrity must be restored. That is the issue.
All right, definitely that's all we are all hoping for. But finally, the World Cup 2018 yesterday. What are your expectations for this whole period?
Well, World Cup is always going to be a fun-filled moment. Everybody is looking forward. But the unfortunate thing is that Ghana is missing, and so the euphoria down here is very down. But I'm looking forward to seeing some stars from Africa, trying to make sure that also put some smiles on the faces of the continent. We haven't really fared that well, but that's because mostly when we are going for such competition in Africa, we are very much moderate with our performance. We always look okay when we get to the second round, we are okay and all that. But I think that we should look beyond that. We should look at going and getting to the semi-finals. We should look at getting to the finals. We should probably change the status quo a little bit. I think that this time, people are looking at Senegal, Nigeria, Tunisia, Egypt, Morocco to come out with something new. Let's see how it goes. But the other countries are also in. Brazil want to make amends. Germany wants to continue from where they started. Spain, of course, they've lost their coach, but they want to be there.
But after all, they're the best team win, isn't it? I mean,
so a lot of things will happen.
Definitely, Graham. Because of time, we would have loved to ask you a lot of questions, but because of time, we'll end the conversation here and get back to you later in our subsequent programs. Many thanks for joining us, Graham, and have a wonderful day.
All
right,
so we remind you that the first show is brought to you by EcoSpa Mineral Water, Revitalize Yourself. We're also supported by Lana Makeup with a beautiful, very simple makeup, but makes us looking extra pretty on the show. And also we will remind you that the Sports AM is coming up shortly. We've taken a little of your time, Matilda. We're sorry,
but it's still sports.
We're sorry. So let's go for Sports AM.